Let me show you guys step by step how I made this simple black dress. I'm using my first attempt as a pattern, which didn't turn out so even, so this time I'm going to be folding it in half so I can make sure the curves on both sides are even. And my original pattern for this was literally just another dress that I had in my closet, and I kind of just adjusted it as needed. You always want to include seam allowance on the side, but my old one was a little bit too small, so I ended up just adding a little bit of extra fabric on both sides so that it could fit me better. Once you unfold your fabric, you should see that it's even, and then you can use your first piece to copy and make your second piece. Put the pieces on top of each other, right sides together, so the wrong side of your fabric should be facing you and the floor. Then you're going to sew along both sides. Since we're using stretchy fabric, make sure to use a zigzag stitch and a stretchy fabric needle. Here I'm using a walking foot, but you don't have to. I use these little clips from Amazon to clip all down the sides to keep it in place as I get started sewing. For seam allowance, I kind of just went to the edge of the presser foot and just went all the way down the dress and made sure to backstitch at the start and the finish. Once you finish going down one side, go ahead and check both sides and just make sure that it's sewed all the way down and there's no gaps. I don't have a serger, so I'm going to be using these pinking shears to cut right next to the stitch to keep it from fraying. This is what the inside will look like once you've cleaned up those edges. Now we're going to repeat that exact same process for the other side of the dress, and then it will be time to hem the top and bottom. To clean up the top and bottom edges, I'm just going to use those pinking shears again to make sure that the fabric is even and in a straight line. Once you've cleaned all that up, we're going to do a rolled hem, which is where I'm literally just going to roll the fabric over and clip it all the way across the top and all the way across the bottom. Once it's clipped all the way around, you're going to go ahead and remove that front part of your sewing machine so that you can kind of get it in there at a better angle, and you're going to sew it all the way down. Once you finish that, you should have a nice rolled hem. This is the inside and the outside. Hem the bottom the same way we just did the top. Then we're going to crash out because I realized I'd been sewing with an empty bobbin. Once you've completely hemmed it, go ahead and turn it inside out and try it on to make sure it fits you. This gives us the opportunity to check our work and see where we need to make adjustments. For a general idea, this is what it should be looking like off the sewing machine. First try on, it was honestly almost perfect, especially since I'd already made that other one, but I did notice that it was a little bit gappy in these bottom 2 inches of the dress right here, so I wanted to take it in so it'd be a little bit tighter on my thighs. To do that, I just turned it inside out and brought in the seam about 1 inch, but this is the final product. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I want to see what you made.